Hi, Crime Junkie Jurors. Today is Tuesday, May 6, 2025, and we just wrapped up day 10 of the second trial of Karen Read. Now, we had 5 witnesses that we heard from today, and I wanted to give you my top moments from court on day 10. So first up, we had meteorologist Robert Gilman. Now, I loved him. He was like a retired, kind of older meteorologist, very likable. He kind of reminds me of like a grandpa who would gather the kids around on a rug and tell you the difference between cirrus and nimbus clouds. I loved him. He was great. So he did not actually teach us the difference in clouds today, but he did teach us about some snowfall on January 29th. So he gave us specific amounts of snowfall and the times that they were falling. And I was actually kind of surprised. So this was a big moment. There was only like 1.2 inches of snow between midnight and 3 a.m. And then between 12 and 6 a.m., there were 3.9 inches. That's a lot less than we've kind of been hearing. So most of the snow actually came after 6 a.m. And the snow started around midnight, but there wasn't a lot.
I believe you said on your direct examination that at midnight, there was, quote, very little snow precipitation. Is that correct?
I believe I said there was very little snow on the ground.
Very little snow on the ground, and I think you used the phrase track a cat?
Enough to track a cat, exactly.
Right. So enough to track a cat, but a fairly small amount, correct?
I don't know how to define it any better than enough to track a cat.
Very good, sir. I'll go with track a cat.
We all got to learn a new meteorologist term today. So the visibility was also discussed. In this case, it means kind of how easily a person can see in the snowstorm. Now, this comes into play because we hear a lot about what Karen and Carrie and Jen were able to see when they got to Fairview, and also what everybody was able to see as they were leaving the party. But as they're talking about this, we had kind of a hilarious moment because when Lally got up to ask about what can impact visibility, he actually asked the meteorologist if it's impacted by light. And this was his response.
Lighting, obviously, you need some light to see anything. That's really all I could say.
So takeaways from this, overall, it really wasn't that much snow, at least not yet. Now, the second moment of today came when Lieutenant Gallagher was on cross-examination again. So Jackson starts showing Gallagher a photo. This is a photo of Tom Kelleher's house. It shows a security camera that's actually placed like right above the front door. Now, remember, Kelleher is the off-duty Canton police officer who Gallagher got the solo cups from, or plastic evidence receptacles. So while he's questioning him, Jackson asks him about this Ring camera at Kelleher's house. And Gallagher is telling him no, it is absolutely, nope, he does not have a Ring camera. So we're all kind of watching, and then he explains what he means.
Deputy Chief Kelleher's house was adorned with a Ring video camera just over the front door, facing out toward the street and facing across the street, which would be facing 34 Fairview, correct?
That is incorrect. He does not have a Ring camera. I know that his system is an Arlo camera, and I have personal knowledge of that because we've discussed cameras because we bought them approximately the same time.
So Gallagher also said that he did not review the footage because he knows that 34 Fairview wouldn't be in view. How does he know? He gives his answer.
Because I know what that camera captures.
How do you know what that camera captures?
Because I've picked up packages for Deputy Chief Kelleher in the past. I know it captures his doorstep and a portion of the front lawn.
So you've reviewed the Arlo footage from his iPhone?
He's just sent me a picture. Can I pick up when he's been on vacation, can I pick up a package on the front step?
Packages. He knows because he's picked up packages. That's probably not in his report. He also said it's motion activated and that it would not have caught anything because he said Kelleher is not going to point it toward the road because the batteries would die sooner. So that's that was an interesting moment. There was also a little bit of a scramble midday to get witnesses on the stand. One got called and you could hear them yelling out in the hallway for him, but he never came. So then they called somebody else. So then we get ready for that one. And then he never came. So then they called somebody else. So kind of an unorganized moment, but it was kind of funny to watch.
Commonwealth calls Charles Ray. If we could, we'll call a different witness who's available.
Okay.
We'll call Kevin O'Hara, please. Call Kevin O'Hara.
I'll see counsel at sidebar, please.
Now, today was also the first day that the jury heard in depth about the taillight pieces and John O'Keefe's shoe that were found at the scene. This is when Lieutenant O'Hara was on the stand. Now, there were a few things that came out during this. He talked about the crime scene being unsecured, but he did make a comment about how the snow or the weather helped to secure it, I guess, because they felt like they would have been able to see tracks if somebody went there. I don't know. So he said that the snow helped secure the crime scene. And then he also said that they did not start shoveling at 34 Fairview until around 5:30. Now, Trooper Tully arrived with like 5 people. Some of them he said he didn't know, and he took over as team leader on the search. Now, here's the thing. The only things that were found in this search, it's like a 60-foot area, he said. The only things that were found in this search were all found in one concentrated area.
You've also indicated that of the, I think you said 6 or 7 total pieces of plastic that were found, that all of those pieces of plastic and the shoe were found basically right next to each other, correct?
I don't know the exact distances, but they weren't too far apart, some several inches to others maybe a foot or two. I don't know the exact distances, sir.
So those were my biggest moments of the day. What were your must-see moments? Let me know in comments. Now, if you need the full breakdown of everything that happens this week, make sure to check out 13th Juror Podcast. I will have everything from this week summed up in the episode that we'll release this weekend. And we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. right here on Crime Junkie Jury.